Purchase contract process. Competency, reasonable skill, and care. The purchase contract process in Arizona real estate is governed by both statute and case law, requiring licensees to act with competence, reasonable skill, and care in the preparation, explanation, and execution of binding real estate agreements. Brokers and agents must understand the legal principles that determine contract validity, enforceability, and compliance with Arizona's statutory framework. Licensee Competency, ARS, Paragraph 32, 2124E2. Under ARS, Paragraph 32, 2124E2. Every real estate licensee in Arizona must demonstrate competency to transact real estate business safely and lawfully. Competency includes knowing how to prepare contracts properly, explain material terms to clients, ensure full compliance with state law, and identify when to refer clients to attorneys or other professionals. Failure to act competently, such as using incorrect forms or missing critical deadlines, can lead to disciplinary action by the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRA. Binding contract elements. A valid real estate purchase contract must contain 4 essential elements: competent parties, mutual assent, offer and acceptance, lawful object, and consideration. Several Arizona cases illustrate these principles. In K-Line Builders, Inc. v. First Federal Savings and Loan Association, 1983, the court reaffirmed that a contract is binding only when there is clear mutual consent to definite terms by both parties. In Empire Machinery v. Litton Business Telephone Systems, 1977, the Arizona Supreme Court emphasized that an enforceable contract requires a meeting of the minds. Both sides must agree to the same material terms without ambiguity. In Hill-Schaefer Partnership v. Chilson Family Trust, 1990, the court ruled that a misunderstanding about a material term, such as the property's legal description, prevents a contract from forming, as mutual assent cannot exist without clarity. Signing authority and legal definition of person. The case Jolly v. Kent, Realty, Inc. 1986, highlights the importance of verifying signing authority. The court held that a broker or agent must confirm that the person signing on behalf of an entity, such as an LLC, corporation, or trust, has legal authority to bind that entity to a contract. ARS Paragraph 1 215.3 defines a person to include individuals, partnerships, corporations, and other entities recognized by law. ARS PR 1 or 215.19 clarifies that an agent or authorized representative acts on behalf of the principal and must have proper authorization. A licensee's failure to confirm signing authority could result in an unenforceable contract or professional liability. Electronic signatures. ARS. Paragraph 44, 7007. Under ARS. 44, 7007, Arizona recognizes electronic signatures and records as legally valid and enforceable. This statute, part of the Arizona Electronic Transactions Act, ensures that electronic contracts have the same legal standing as paper contracts if all parties consent to electronic execution. Real estate professionals routinely use platforms such as DocuSign to obtain e-signatures, which must be secure, verifiable, and retained for record-keeping as required by ADRI. Consideration and earnest money. Consideration refers to something of value exchanged between parties, typically the buyer's earnest money and the seller's promise to convey the property. In Carroll v. Lee, 1986, the Arizona Supreme Court held that valid consideration must exist on both sides for a contract to be enforceable. The buyer's deposit demonstrates good faith, intent to complete the purchase. Under ARS, Paragraph 32, 2151A, all earnest money must be deposited into a neutral escrow account with a licensed escrow company, title company, or attorney. The broker must deliver earnest money promptly, according to the contract terms. Holding funds in escrow ensures that neither party has unilateral control and that funds are distributed fairly at closing or upon cancellation. When a purchase contract is executed, the buyer obtains equitable title, meaning a beneficial interest in the property, while legal title remains with the seller until closing. If the buyer defaults or breaches the contract, the seller may retain earnest money as liquidated damages or pursue legal remedies for breach, depending on contract terms. Buyer rights and assignability under ARS. Carbar 47-2210. Buyers generally have the right to assign their purchase contract to another party, unless the contract specifically prohibits it. Assignability allows investors to transfer their interest to another buyer before closing. However, the assigner remains liable for performance unless released by the seller. Licensees must clearly disclose to all parties when a transaction involves an assignment. In the context of wholesaling, ARS paragraph 44-5101 requires wholesalers to disclose their role as an equitable interest holder when marketing or selling a property contract. They must make it clear they are assigning their contractual rights, not selling the property itself. This law protects sellers and buyers from confusion and prevents unlicensed individuals from engaging in activities that resemble real estate brokerage without proper licensure. These statutes and cases collectively ensure that Arizona real estate contracts are executed competently, ethically, and lawfully. They reinforce that licensees must understand contract formation, enforceability, and client rights while exercising reasonable skill and care in all stages of the transaction.